Published 0949 EDT, the 2nd of November 2017. Updated 1101 EDT, the 2nd of November 2017. The wife of NYC terror suspect Sayfullo Saipov, pictured. Nozima Odilova reportedly denied knowing about his plans for the attack, according to a friend who spoke with the 24-year-old Tuesday night. The 24-year-old wife of NYC terror suspect Sayfullo Saipov, 29, reportedly told federal agents that she didn't know what her husband was planning, despite the fact that he had been coordinating the attack for a year. Nozima Odilova spoke to a friend Tuesday evening, after FBI agents grilled her at the Paterson, New Jersey apartment, where she lives with Saipov and their 3 young children. Odilova told the friend that she didn't know what her husband was up to. The friend told the Washington Post that said she seemed shocked and horrified and scared and sad. Little else is known about Saipov's wife, a fellow Uzbek immigrant who he married in Ohio in 2013. The couple were known to have lived in Florida and New Jersey as well. A neighbor at the couple's apartment in Tampa said that Odilova and an older woman who lived in the apartment wore headscarves and didn't speak to anyone else. Late Wednesday night, Saipov, 29, was arraigned in federal court on terrorism charges. He was brought into court in a wheelchair. Saipov killed 8 and injured 12 when he mowed down bicyclists and pedestrians on a bike path in Manhattan on Tuesday late Wednesday night. Saipov was arraigned in federal court on terrorism charges. On October 31, he rented a pickup truck at a Home Depot in Passaic, New Jersey, drove into Manhattan and then mowed down people on a bike path along the Hudson River, killing 8 and injuring 12. Eventually Saipov crashed into a minibus carrying special needs children, got out of the truck and started menacing drivers on the West Side Highway with a paintball gun. A 28-year-old cop brought the massacre to an end by shooting Saipov in the stomach. As he was recovering in the hospital on Wednesday, Saipov asked if he could hang an ISIS flag in his hospital room and said he felt good about what he had done, according to the criminal complaint. Brought to court in a wheelchair, Saipov was held without bail on charges that could bring the death penalty. Separately, the FBI was questioning people who might have information about his actions before the attack, including a second Uzbek man. The friend who spoke to Odilova said FBI agents were speaking to her at the time at her apartment in Paterson, New Jersey. Above, Saipov and Odilova live in the apartment with their 3 young children. Federal prosecutors say Saipov was inspired by the Islamic State group's online videos and plotted his New York City attack for 2 months, renting a truck ahead of time to practice turning it. Federal authorities said in a criminal complaint bringing terrorism charges against the Uzbek immigrant. According to the criminal complaint, Saipov chose the attack date to target Halloween crowds. During the last few weeks, Saipov searched the internet for information on Halloween in New York City and rented a truck to practice turns. He chose a route along a lower Manhattan highway and initially hoped to continue to hit more pedestrians on the Brooklyn Bridge, the complaint said. Saipov's court appearance came just hours after President Donald Trump said he would consider sending Saipov to the Guantanamo Bay detention center in Cuba, an idea the White House reinforced by saying it considered Saipov to be an enemy combatant. Detainees at Guantanamo accused of supporting militants have faced military tribunals, rather than trials, in the U.S. legal system. By afternoon, though, Saipov was in federal court facing charges that include providing material support to a terrorist group. Trump's administration could, at least in theory, still send the suspect to the U.S. base in Cuba later, though such a step would be unprecedented. The couple attend Omar Mosque in Paterson, which has been under NYPD surveillance since 2005. Neighbors at the couple's old apartment in Tampa, Florida, above say the women in the apartment wore headscarves and didn't socialize with outsiders. Late Wednesday night, the president took to Twitter to say that Saipov should get the death penalty. Trump also has called for eliminating the 1990s visa lottery program that Saipov used to come to the U.S. in 2010. Miller said Saipov had never been the subject of a criminal investigation by the FBI or New York police, but appears to have links to people who have been investigated. He wouldn't elaborate. Miller said Thursday he appeared to be the only suspect, but he cautioned the investigation was relatively fresh. The attack killed 5 people from Argentina, 1 from Belgium and 2 Americans, authorities said. 12 people were injured. City leaders vowed New York would not be intimidated and said Sunday's New York City Marathon would go on as scheduled, with increased security.